I know people who are like,
good playlist.
I love going on a run. I feel better. It clears my mind. I'm running, and I'm like, this is making me feel worse every step of the fucking way.
I think of the most horrific shit while I'm running.
Okay, all right, yeah.
It's you and me both. Yeah. No, it's you and me both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See,
I have metal playing in my thing, and I'm just like if people could see the thoughts in my fucking head, they would arrest.
I was rolling with somebody, and he's like, that guy should feel ashamed that he lost to a man with a Pikachu tattoo because my arm is here, right? And so you see his lightning. So he's thinking, from after having, I don't know, one conversation with
Sean.
me.
It's Sean, and he was still talking shit about it. They get beaten by a fucking girl with a unicorn gym bag. You know, who's got the gay pride tattoos, and they're never coming back. They never come back. Like, try doing some of the 10th planet moves and not try it. You're not going to be able to fucking do it.
I've heard that you can't do some of those moves without actually being high on mushrooms.
So
maybe that might have something to do with it. Your flexibility is like cosmic.
There's a minimum THC level in the bloodstream
that you need to have. Yes.
The first thing I fucking look at is his ears. Yes. Because the dude's got cauliflower ears, I'm like, fuck. Yeah. He got them somehow.
Yeah.
The first thing I look at is their eyes. Like, you looking like a bitch.
And the towel comes off.
Dick's a swinging.
Bro, he's fighting naked in a bathhouse. This motherfucker is throwing high kicks with his dick flop. I remember.
So, all right. There it is. Okay. Now I'm in place.
What happened?
Right here. I couldn't get this the other day. Like a lot of times I'll see my face in the podcast, and it's like this is like right here. Because that was the only way that I can get it nice and stiff. But now it's
articulating arms. You can put them
firm.
in
those are some
any position you want.
Yeah, buddy. All right, we got it. So, we ready, gentlemen?
Oh, I think so.
Right.
Ready
Hit
as
it.
we're gonna be.
Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast. Now that we are all fully caffeinated in our own way, ready to attack the day. You guys look like you either went to work out or are going to work out after the podcast. Going to work out.
Just got back from a run.
Got back. I'm going to be doing my workouts today too. I'm back on my fitness kick. Getting sick, no fun.
Yep.
And when you're out for like 1 or 2 weeks because you're sick and your body is just complete shit, that first week of like getting back on the pedestal, I tell you what, you feel like a wet paper bag. There was one day in Jiu Jitsu, and I shit you not, like last week was my first week of like, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to get my cardio back. And then this week, like starting today, I'm back on the bike, back working out with weights and then doing Jiu Jitsu. I didn't want to like slam.
Yeah.
Just yet, last week, I realized by like Wednesday, we have a guy, his name is Grant. You guys have seen Grant, heard Grant, if you listen to the podcast.
I invited Grant to a La Cantina today.
Oh, very nice. We explain him as victim weight because he is like 90 pounds soaking wet, 4 foot tall, right?
Yes.
There was a point in time on like Wednesday when I'm rolling with him and like his body weight was too much for my arms to bear.
All 80 pounds of them.
I'm just like, I'm like, fuck it. You're on top, bitch. And then I rolled him, but it still was just like, it was like suffering defeat. Like I'm like my arms are failing me. Like I can't hold 80 pounds over my head.
He's getting good though in the scrambles and stuff.
Yeah, no. He's learning to listen and use his body the way that it works for him. I think when we all start jiu-jitsu, it's about finding what works for you, keeping it, and then discarding the rest.
Yep.
And that really does go to your body height, weight, your natural God-given abilities, and then your capacity to learn.
Yeah, even injuries, you have to steer away from spots where you're like, oh, this is just not going to work for me. Because I'm just going to keep aggravating this particular thing.
I agree. So let's talk about something that I think we've all experienced in our jiu-jitsu journey that I think would benefit some white belts that do listen to the podcast. Because thank you guys at the gym for listening to all of us.
Why the hell are you listening to us?
Is when we're dealing with plateauing in jiu-jitsu. For new people, what I've come to understand when I talk to them is that like they plateau and then they just feel like, I'm defeated. I'm not learning anything new. Everyone's surpassing me. Everyone's getting better. But I think it's good for them to understand that this happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Like that we all we feel like there's like a month where you're just kicking complete ass. You're doing great. Everything's working. Everything is sticking the landing. And then the next month, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's one of two things, I think. One, your opponents are like, they are also watching you. They're also training with you. They're also getting better. And two, you do have to kind of mix up what you're doing. Because like if I'm always doing this thing, people are going to catch on. So you got to kind of mix it up to, add a little flavor to it.
The biggest thing to not do is compare yourself to the speed that everybody else is learning. Some people are going to pick it up faster.
Yes.
But then they might hit a wall down the line. And then to go forwards, you have to go backwards and undo things that might work against white belts, but aren't going to work on blue and purple and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, as you're learning, everyone that's showing up is also learning.
Correct.
And you can't accommodate for, are they spending more time outside of the gym, watching videos, reviewing things, checking on spots? Because that's what I used to do. Yeah. At the end of every class, I'd make a mental note of here's where I got. Whether it was a good position or a bad position, I got here and I froze because I didn't have something to do. I'd go home and I'd look for something from that position. And at the very least, I'd have an idea of what to try to do when I got there.
Yeah. Right. Also, what do you do when you leave? Like when you go leave jiu-jitsu, do you go home and eat a bag of Funyuns and watch Netflix? I mean, some people leave jiu-jitsu and they go to the gym and lift weights.
Right.
Some people, after they get off work 3 or 4 times a week, they run 2 to 3 miles. Like,
yes.
There's, some people like eat like shit, and then other people are eating their chicken with their broccoli and their steamed rice. Like they're on top of their shit.
So what you're saying is what you're supplementing outside of the gym is just as important as what you're doing in the gym.
Absolutely. Yeah. What you see is just what you're doing for your however many classes you go a week for 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
You don't see what the people you're rolling with that may be at your level are doing while you're not watching.
I don't think most people realized I was in the, despite good old dad bod, I was in the gym 6 days a week.
It was a hell of a dad bod, though.
Yeah.
Running twice a week.
Sure.
And despite the way I was eating, because I was essentially out running, for the most part, a pretty terrible diet.
Yeah. Right.
Switched the diet, 40 pounds down, and now it's a bit of a different story.
I was going to say, you look fucking great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. Lost a lot of weight, man. You look really good.
Running.
Yeah, and when I rolled with you the other day, you're a lot fucking stronger than the last time I rolled with you. I noticed it immediately. I was like, oh my God. Ed got real fucking strong.
Running still sucks.
Yes. Always will.
Yeah.
I hate it every time I do it.
It's gotten a tiny bit.
So is that the secret? When you're going into a run, you're going to hate it.
You are going to fucking hate every minute of it.
I know people who are like,
good playlist.
I love going on a run. I feel better. It clears my mind. I'm running and I'm like, this is making me feel worse every step of the fucking way.
I think of the most horrific shit while I'm running.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
It's you and me both. Yeah. No, it's you and me both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See,
I have metal playing in my thing, and I'm just like if people could see the thoughts in my fucking head, they would arrest me.
See, but this is why I opted for bike in the house, but for 2 reasons, honestly. Bike in the house, I still get a nasty sweat. I still feel
better for your knees.
It's better for my knees.
Oh my God.
So since I have a torn meniscus,
I use my knees after every fucking
run. And if you do it right, if you actually have one of these systems in home where you're, I use the Peloton. And they really make you do it. If you stick to the program, by the time I'm done, there's so much sweat dripping on the floor. I'm like, I have to clean this with bleach and Lysol. This is nasty. But I feel good when I'm done. In the middle of it, it fucking sucks. It does. But
it should. If it's a workout that you're gonna actually take something away from, you should not enjoy it.
But that also goes to the approach to the gym. You see a lot of people, they go in, but they're essentially going through the motions.
Right.
If you're not getting, you don't have to get to failure, but through the set, by the end of it, you should be near failure.
Yeah, discomfort.
Otherwise, you're not creating a need for your body to adapt. So there's plenty of times where you see people, they're doing the same thing, they're doing the same weight, they're doing the same reps. If you're not pushing for either slightly higher weight or slightly more reps through every workout, you're actually not moving the needle forward anywhere.
Right.
You're just going through the motions, and you will find out you're burning barely energy because your body adapts to that. Right. You have an amount of nervous energy your body will burn through the day, and it can adjust. I think it was upwards of 1,500 calories.
Wow.
Where if you start adding working out, your body will slowly stop doing these little ticking and movements and tapping and this and that. And it'll accommodate for the fact that you're burning energy elsewhere, which helps people focus and stay still, which is where that comes from. But it goes back to you're still not, if you're not forcing yourself to actually work hard, you're really not doing anything but going through the motion. And the same thing happens in jiu-jitsu.
Right.
If you keep doing the same moves and you're doing them over and over and you're not trying to expand outside of where you're going, you're going to kind of hit a wall a little bit and you're going to stall and people are going to learn your game.
Right.
And then you're going to find like, oh, I'm going backwards. You're not.
You're not.
It's that they're trying other stuff. They're moving forward where you haven't adjusted.
I've been doing pretty good with my Kimura trap game for like a couple,
You
a decade now.
You have.
A decade now.
But I'm going to tell you right now, like secretly, low-key, I haven't brought it out yet. When you're not in the gym, I'm working on Kimura blocks.
Oh, I can fucking tell. I can fucking tell because I'm already rolling with some of the lower belts and they're doing shit. And I'm like, you didn't fucking know this a week ago. You didn't know this a week. Like they're putting their arm in the right place. I'm like,
Wait a second. The last time,
and I almost want to look over at you like, fuck you. Fuck you for showing everybody the
the
counter.
last time me and Ian rolled, it was like 4 minutes of like, I got your grip. I got your grip. I got your grip.
Yeah.
I got your grip.
We were exchanging grips.
He looked at me. He's like, did we just do like 4 minutes of exchanging grips? Me and Eddie had a similar experience. We just rolled. And it was funny because they were watching us like from the sidelines and everybody was kind of coaching. So we had like 3 black belts watching me and Eddie. And we were going at like a really good, like a brown belt pace.
Yeah.
Like I'm moving, he's moving, he's doing, I'm doing. We're going, we're rolling, we're getting this, we're grabbing that. And Eddie wound up catching me with like a leg lock at like the last 30 seconds, prick.
He does that. He does that.
Fucking prick. So, but it's funny because like, as we're going, like we're hearing like from the sideline, do this, hey, do that. But like me and Eddie have rolled so much and we know each other's game so well and we train together and that it's like going tit for tat. It's like, I know you're going here. I know why this hand is here. I know why this leg is here. I know. So we're like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. And we're trying to outmaneuver each other. And this is just a matter of, gotcha, bitch. Yeah. But I think for newer people training, it's important to know that you're going to fail. It's important to know that you're going to plateau. It's important to know that you're going to have good days and days that you're driving home with no music on.
Yeah.
You know, and that it's all okay. Because jiu-jitsu is a competitive sport. It is one that we're always striving and learning to do better, but it's also going to humble you.
Yeah.
And I think all of those things in society as a whole is good because too many people are just so very fucking comfortable.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is it's completely honest. Like when you're out there and you're rolling,
yes,
you can't bullshit anything.
Right.
Like
Correct.
You can't in other aspects of life, you can talk, I do this, blah, blah, and you can present yourself as something you're not. When you're out there rolling with somebody else, you can't hide anything.
You can't say, I black out, bro.
No.
I black out.
The whole I see red and bad things happen. No. Okay. We're out here, we slap hands. Okay, see red. See red. Okay. Like no, there's no bullshit. Like I mean, like you'll go with a guy for the first time, like, a new guy will come in and you'll roll with him and like you're not even doing anything and he's shaking and out of breath.
Yes.
Like, dude, we're not even doing anything.
Yeah, no, this is just the beginning. We've had
like this is I can see you dealing with confrontation for the first time in your life now. I can see this.
Yes, but you know what? Also, kudos to those that go through that and stay.
Yes,
because I've seen countless people, and I'm sure you have, where they come in, and I'm talking like strapping lads. They walk in like, I watch UFC.
Yep.
And then after like 2 smothering sessions and a little bit of...
they get beaten by a fucking girl with a unicorn gym bag. Who's got the gay pride tattoos, and they're never coming back. They never come back.
Yes, and it's like,
this fucking jarhead is gone. You're never going to see him
One
again.
of the black belts, he told me, he's like, I was rolling with somebody, and he's like, that guy should feel ashamed that he lost to a man with a Pikachu tattoo because my arm is here, right? And so you see his lightning. So he's thinking, from after having, I don't know, one conversation with
Sean.
me.
It's Sean, and he was still talking shit about it at dinner. We were talking about it on our end. Yeah. He's like, I can't believe that's a fucking Pikachu tattoo. I was like, it's not.
I fucking love this guy. He's great.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you look at Sean, right?
He is an ogre.
He is. And I said to like Ian when we were at the table, I'm like, he was a professional wrestler? Ian's looking at me like, of course he was. But of course he was. He's a gargantuan man.
He's a monster.
But that does go to show you. Like,
he looks dense.
Yes,
He looks like if you shot him with a 9mm, you're not going to get to vital organs.
When people say that, like, technique destroys all, there is a certain point at which your technique plateaus.
Yeah.
And when a guy like and I'm not a small guy. I'm like 190, 5'10", right?
Yeah,
I'm an average man.
I want to see you De La Hiva Brock Lesnar.
Bro.
I want to fucking see it.
If
I want to see you fucking get underneath him and invert and take his goddamn back.
If I ran full speed at Sean, full speed, and try to do a double leg takedown, I would bounce off of him.
Yeah. You're gonna stop dead motion. You're gonna herniate a fucking disc somewhere.
Dislocate both my shoulders.
I don't think that because he's a big man, he's not flexible, because he is actually more flexible than most other people you run into at the same time.
I've seen him. I've witnessed him win the Miami.
Yeah,
Open.
he's an impressive specimen.
He's
the only other man that I think that was that impressive in jiu-jitsu that I recall was Dane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dane was one of these guys who was like a big brute. And like there were times when like I'm rolling with him and I know he's letting me work and I'm catching things and he's catching things and he's being real nice. And then like I'll see him like 10 minutes later where somebody pisses him off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what'd you do to Dane, bro? You're about to get Viking the fuck up right now. And then he's just like yoking, like eyes are bulging and snot is pouring.
I mean, you really got to do so. Because I mean,
he was super nice.
Me and Dane would roll hard deliberately. Like he would roll with other people and then he'd come over to me like, you ready for a good one now?
Yes.
Like I was the guy who was like, ooh, I'm saving you for last.
Yes.
Because we're going to be the good roll.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
So you really got to fuck up to get on Dane's bad side. He is such a gentle giant.
Yeah, because there's times Dane puts you in stuff and you know he could hurt you, and he's like, well, he's not hurting me.
No,
I'm at least on his good side.
He's a gentle giant, right? You know, but you know, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I think experimentation is important, but also so is repetition.
Yeah,
I think that as white belts, blue belts, learning and harnessing the fundamentals is so very, very, very important. Yeah. Drilling a lot, doing the things that you do well a lot helps. Yep. But then also sprinkling in a little experimentation with what you're doing.
Yeah, I would say experimentation, also like supplementation. Like don't like jiu-jitsu. If you do jiu-jitsu and you keep doing jiu-jitsu, you're going to get better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right.
But if you want to improve your game and add facets to it, there's other things you can supplement it with. Weight training.
Yep.
Running.
Yes.
Yoga is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yoga and stretching is unbelievable for jiu-jitsu, especially because you're able to do techniques that like try doing some of the 10th planet moves and not try it. You're not going to be able to fucking do it.
I've heard that you can't do some of those moves without actually being high on mushrooms.
So
maybe that might have something to do with it. Your flexibility is like cosmic.
There's a minimum THC level in the bloodstream
that you need to have. Yes.
I mean, some of them you really, because I am naturally already fairly flexible, but some of them really require you to have a level above where you got to be forcing yourself to get more flexible.
Go beyond a split.
And even then you some of them you run the risk of like popping your knee on your own self.
Now, let me ask you guys something. This is kind of a little bit of a jiu-jitsu controversial subject where it's called cross-training.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's good, right? Cross-training. But also when done right, also at a higher level, right? For me, my opinion, white belts, blue belts, maybe like mid blue belts, depending on how you are to purple belt, before you start cross-training in other gyms and learning different facets of jiu-jitsu, unless you're thinking that the gym that you're at just isn't up to the standards that you want, then I think switching altogether, because I think if you're too soon in the game and you're cross-training, you're going to get mixed signals because everyone does things slightly different, right?
You need to get a solid base with the fundamental movement. And that was something I was explaining the other day was there's movements within the basic moves, and you won't necessarily understand why you're learning certain moves at white belt, especially because you're like, but they never work. They do.
Right.
And what it's really teaching you is an underlining fundamental movement that applies all over the place.
Correct.
And not just in this one particular movement. But you're not going to know it until you learn enough techniques, and then at a certain point, it'll kind of click in and you're like, oh, from over here, I could kind of do this thing from the bump sweep. I could kind of do this thing from that little arm bar swing.
Correct.
And that's what makes this work.
Right.
But without learning that movement and really getting it dialed in, those things just don't occur to you. And you have to just deal with these little annoying white belt moves that you feel like don't work until you start getting them to work and you start seeing what the underlying movement actually is.
And then also learning timing, how important timing is.
Yep.
Also learning when to let go of a move, when to hold on to a move, when to apply the move.
Yep.
Just because I know a scissor sweep and I've perfected it doesn't mean that it's applicable in every single situation.
Yep.
Sometimes I could start a scissor sweep and then you'll posture differently and I'm like, shit, now I have to move to this sweep or change my grips here to try to apply a different technique. And all of those things come into play when you're learning. It can be a little frustrating in the beginning because you're like, I did step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why does this brown belt go 1, 3, 5?
Yeah.
You know, because we see it a little differently, but we learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
How do you feel about cross training? When do you think it's a good idea to do these things? In your personal opinion,
I mean, it all depends on your schedule. I mean, like to me, like some people go to different gyms because like, oh, this gym's here and I work here on this day. Like you remember Red? Like Red would show up everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure. Red would be at everybody.
but he was also at a pretty high level.
blue or higher, purple belt.
yeah.
He was purple when he was bouncing around so much.
Yes, and even at blue, Red was, I think, an exception to most people.
Yeah.
He was really strong.
Yeah.
He was a very big man, and that also affords you to get away with certain things. But also, he was very skilled. I'm not taking anything away from his skill level. He learned quickly.
He is when you take the time and sit down with Red and talk about the positions and where he's going and why, he is incredibly technical about why and where he's moving and when.
Sure.
And if you don't, and there's a lot of people like that, but if you don't take the time to sit down and
Analyze
talk through it, you don't realize necessarily what all is going on.
Sure. So back to your cases. Sorry.
No, I think it all depends on the person. But you guys are right. Like you have to build your fundamentals before you. I mean, you can't be watching videos on like inverted heel hooks and shit if like you can't even oompa. Like,
right. And that's the thing. Like when you get to talking with some people and they're like, but what happens if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens? I'm like, that's fine, but you still haven't learned the move yet.
Yeah, it's like you can't pass my guard. You don't need to be worried about.
Yeah, it's like, what if they do this? Well, they're not doing that right now.
Yeah. Right.
We're learning this movement and just trust that there is something underlining to why we're doing it this way for now.
Like slow it down. So like me, I agree. Like mid blue belt, purple.
What
are you saying?
I would say if you're a competition blue belt, sure.
Yes.
But if you're just a hobbyist blue belt, no.
Right. Yeah.
Wait,
And purple.
Then I would wait till purple.
What do you think? Ian?
Unless you're dealing with the fact of no gi versus gi. If your gym only trains one, but you want to train both, well, then you're going to have to do a little back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
But at that point, it's really hard to say, are you just a hobbyist?
Right. But and then I kind of disagree with it only because, again, it's about getting mixed signals. I think once your fundamentals are solid enough, and you can know within yourself, you judge yourself, once your fundamentals are really solid, then you can add these other things to the aspects of your jiu-jitsu that I think would be beneficial. Otherwise, it's like, I've seen it happen where people are training at two different places, they're just getting started, and great, they're very enthusiastic. Yeah. And then like they're just like pulling, wait, what did they teach me here? And
unless they're training like at a place that's like a niche place. Like if you're going to like a jiu-jitsu school and then like there's like a wrestling club that like trains 3 times a week and it's just like if you want to be geared more towards top heavy pressure and takedowns,
wrestling,
then I don't see a problem with doing that because you're not that. Or like if you go to a judo school,
right,
and like your other teammates don't know about it or whatever, but then all of a sudden you're doing like really heavy grips and arm locks and you're throwing everybody. I think that's fine. Or if if there's a local Sambo school and next thing you know, you're fucking leg locking and knee barring everybody.
Where you're adding something to your game that you necessarily can't get from jiu-jitsu, like with your takedowns, like you're saying Sambo, judo,
like you might
wrestling.
be able to counteract not having, like there's certain guys that win just because their fundamentals are better than everybody else.
Correct.
Like they know maybe 2 submissions. They know the rear naked choke and the arm bar, but their fundamentals are so good that they're I don't think my fundamentals are that great. But like,
I think you're fantastic, man.
Okay, all right. But listen,
the thing is, there's
guys that win just by doing the same shit.
Sure.
There's a lot of gold medal winners, and what they have is really one submission. Right. But what they did was they said, "Here's my finish. What are the 3 positions that get me to that finish? All right, what are the 3 positions that get me to these 3 positions?" And they work their way back until they get to where they're standing.
Yeah.
And then they go, what's the takedown that gets me to these 9 positions?
Right.
All right, this is my takedown. This is where I land on the ground.
Sure.
This one takes me here. This one takes me here. This one takes me to my finish.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's something about just sharpening your game for one specific thing because that's just what works for your body.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you have to, one, obviously lean into what works for you.
Right.
But then you also have to take the time and say, what are the things I'm doing the worst?
Correct.
And work on those and
Correct.
bring those up, not necessarily because they're part of your game, because you knowing them helps you defend against someone else
Sure.
doing it to you.
So
Roger Gracie. I mean, Roger Gracie, who a lot of people consider the gi goat. Like he is like to what Gordon Ryan is to no gi, Roger Gracie was in the gi.
right.
Yep.
Roger Gracie didn't have a complex game.
No.
It was a very, very simple game. You
all
would never
basics.
see. You'd never see him De La Hiva.
Nope.
You'd
Right.
never see him invert. None
Right.
of that shit. He just knew what he could do well.
Yes.
He drilled it tens of thousands of
Yep.
times, and he was going to beat you.
Yes.
he beat everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
But you-
Braulio Estima, he beat Buchecha, he beat
Yes.
everybody.
But he had a-
Leandro Lowe, Roger Gracie
Yes.
is.
But he had a fundamental understanding of what works for him and how to stop what doesn't work.
He was
for
also
him,
a
right?
big guy.
Because think of
Roger Gracie was very big.
Think
Yeah.
of when you say something like that, you think of Chuck Liddell in his time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell was a master assassin with his hands, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And his feet. But he knew fundamentally on the ground, I'm gonna get fucked up. So what did he do? He learned how to get the fuck back up at
And that's
all
it. That's all he
costs.
wanted to do was, if I'm on the ground, get up. I'm on the ground. And that's all he worked on. If
Rest
you
of
take me
defense.
down, I get up.
Yes, so
Wrestle
he
defense.
understood his strengths and his weakness at a level where other people didn't quite at that time.
Yeah.
The sad thing for Chuck is I don't know when it happened, but it just all of a sudden happened.
Yeah.
Like he had a great chin.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it went.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It got to the point where like he would get
Well, that-
fucking
Yeah,
nicked.
well,
He would
that-
get nicked.
I
And he would go
remember
to
what it
sleep.
was.
I think Rogan is correct on that. It's your brain protecting yourself. It's like, oh, you're going to keep fucking going and I'm going to keep taking damage. You just need to shut off.
Yes.
Because then the pain stops.
Yes, yeah, no, it's true. I think one of the craziest fights was with him and Rich Franklin.
That was that was
To me, that was like a catalyst
Well, Rich-
to like
Rich
they
Franklin-
like double knock each other out.
Rich Franklin in general was just, I mean,
Rich Franklin.
fantastic.
Rich Franklin knocked out Chuck Liddell with a broken arm.
Bro.
He
it's-
punched him with his broken arm and knocked him
Yeah,
out.
no, he's
That's-
he's one of the unsung heroes. I feel like Rich
yeah.
Franklin. Rich Franklin was a G back in the
Rich,
day.
Rich Franklin didn't even need to fight. He was like a really intelligent math teacher. And,
Yeah,
like,
Yes.
he
that
was
was
just
that was one of the people who were like, oh, it's an everyday blue collar where he's just a teacher.
Yes.
But he gets in the ring, you're like, yeah, root for the fucking teacher.
Yeah, who was
Yeah.
who was the other guy? He was a heavyweight. He was like a fireman, and he came in and he was
Stipe.
knocking motherfuckers out.
Stipe's
a
Stipe's
fireman,
one, but the
yeah.
one before him, he was like in the George St. Pierre days. Like he came out of nowhere. I don't know if he was a firefighter or a policeman or like he worked like some blue collar
I know
job.
Shane Carwin was a fucking
Shane Carwin,
Shane,
yeah,
Shane Carwin had bigger hands than Brock Lesnar,
bro.
And he was like a something engineer, but
Yeah.
he was like, dude, you make more money like as a fucking engineer than you do as a fighter.
He's like, I want to try my hands at knocking motherfuckers out.
Well, he was also insanely fucking strong.
He
Like,
was. He
insane.
was.
Shane Carwin hit so goddamn
Yeah,
hard.
they would talk about like just training sessions, and that was back in the day when people really severely overtrained.
Yeah.
and they were in the gym trying to murder each other as if they were fighting for a championship belt.
But there's a time when your body can handle that. Look at Musashi, Mikey.
Yes.
He
Yes.
trains 8 to 12 hours a day.
Oof.
Jesus Christ.
But he's young. His body can handle it.
Yes.
I'm like, if I get like
I'm
3
paralyzed.
good rolls, my elbows are like, hey man, fuck you, sit
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. No, for
If
sure.
if I trained 8 hours a day, I'd be fucking paralyzed. I'd be
Yes.
paralyzed.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys then, speaking on this subject, right, relating to jujitsu, I say the same thing. Like, you have to know when to rest and when to apply and attack. Like, so even on days when I'm feeling really shit, I'll at least drill or go over technique. So I'm in the gym, I'm still moving. And then there are days where I'm like, I feel great. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to roll hard for 5 rounds. I'm going to roll hard for 10 rounds if I'm doing 2 classes like that, you know? But then on the other side of it, you have to rest and you have to recover.
Yeah.
Because I think there are some people that, I know I did it in the beginning. Like I'd come fresh off of like a dislocated shoulder. A week later, I'm back in the gym going as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And then at 43, fucking dislocated my shoulder eating peanut butter jelly sandwich. So, I mean, how do you guys go about your like rest recovery? Like, is it a part of your regimen? What do you do?
I probably have one day a week that I don't do anything,
Yeah.
where I'll just,
recover.
Yeah, recover. I mean, I think, I don't know about you, but I think it depends on like what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm not trying to be a world champion.
Right.
Like I'm trying to do jiu-jitsu to get better. Like, it's an aspect of my fitness regime. It's a skill I'm trying to get better at. But like for dudes that want to be that guy, like for guys that want to win New Breed, they want to win Naga, they want to win the IBJJF. You kind of have to put yourself in the fire.
Yeah.
Like you need those days where you do 10 hard fucking rolls. Like you do 2 classes a day. One of them is a competition class because you don't know what your bracket's going to be like.
Yeah.
You may have to fight 3-4 fights in succession, and those guys are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You make a valid point. Like if you're training for a competition, you got to go hard.
Right. Like
but if you're training for sports,
you need someone to yank on your gi to hurt your neck. Like you need to get used to that because when they say go,
they're gonna go.
That dude's gonna go.
And like that, you have to have it scheduled out. Where like these days here, I'm in and I'm training, but it's light days, and I can trust my
flow days.
My training partners that it's light days. We're literally just really working on the technique.
Right. I'm
and
not
on this day is when it's competition and we're going. Because if you're going competition every day, you're going to break your body down.
Out.
The only way you're getting to 8-12 hours a day is you're going through technique. You're going through movement. You're troubleshooting areas that you're having problems with, but you're not going 100% because your body can't handle 100% all the time. I've had to now, because I've also been on a weight cut for so long, I've had to add an additional day off. I hit the point where I can only keep adding weight to the bar while having a calorie deficit while doing jiu-jitsu before you start running into a wall. Your body can only recover so fast. So it's like, okay, I got to separate hypertrophy and strength days. I can't keep doing them at the same week, and I need to add another day off because I need to be able to recover. Otherwise, I can't train. One or the other is going to suffer. You have to balance what your body can handle.
I've noticed, I don't know, for some reason, I don't want to say I'm getting weaker, but I feel like in my weight training, I'm getting weaker. Like I was I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm at a point where like, I don't even know, like right now, I don't even know like even if we worked up to it, if I could bench 315. I don't know if I could.
Well, that's
I think it would bury me. Because I'm at a point right now where I'm benching and like numbers that I used to hit for 6 to 8.
Yeah.
But do you
I'm
think,
hitting for 4 to 5, and I'm like, ugh.
But do you think that that's your body telling you like you need a little more recovery?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm eating enough. I don't know.
Well, it's not even necessarily eating enough.
I'm like, is this it? Is this the fucking? Is this what everybody talks about? Is this, did I go over the thing and now I'm sliding?
I think it's rest because like
if that's the case, bro, where's the nearest fucking roid doctor? I ain't ready yet. I'm not ready.
TRT.
Exactly. You're gonna see me on the couch. I'm sitting on the couch like Vitor fucking Belfort. Like, hey guys.
With adding in jiu-jitsu again, your body can only recover so fast. Your nervous system is gonna start needing extra time to rest. So I noticed for myself, like I can't do a ruck and then do a deadlift day the next day after.
Oh no,
right.
It fucked my deadlift. Like I didn't post a video on it because I usually record I record my last set.
Right.
So I went into my first top heavy set. It didn't even come off the fucking ground.
Yeah.
And I went, fuck me.
I'm standing in the background with the shame bell. Shame.
Yeah. But that's
shame.
also.
But I'm not lifting. Shame. Shame.
Your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Peanut butter and jelly. Shame.
You couldn't even get your last round. As you're eating the sandwich.
Pass the Cheetos.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame on you, you fuck.
But that's when you have to now, I know, okay, like my schedule got a little out of sorts. I was going to do the ruck and then my deadlift the day after versus I do the deadlift and then the ruck the day after. And I'm like, oh, I definitely can't do it this way. I have to keep it on that particular workout scheme. But I went to the next week and I did a deload. Now, a lot of people, when they go to deload, they just cut the weight and they still keep the same volume, which is wrong. You're not supposed to cut the weight. You cut the volume. So if you're doing 5 top sets, do 2. If you're doing 3 top sets, you do 1. But you're keeping the same weight. So your body's still moving that weight, but you're not going through as many reps of it. And that is what allows your body to kind of recover a little bit. But if you're adding the jiu-jitsu in, it's a lot of work on the body. Yeah. You're not controlling the weight with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
The other person is the weight. And how hard they go is how hard you have to fight back.
Sure.
So the amount of strain on the body is a lot more than what some people anticipate. And that builds up. And if you're not adding in that extra day to rest or even choosing what day you're going to do what things so that, like, I put specifically, because my deadlift is generally my best lift, I put it on the Saturday, and I deliberately don't do anything but jiu-jitsu on Friday if I do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if I do weights before my deadlift day, it's gonna fuck it up.
Right.
And I know it is because deadlift is such a full body heavy strain. Because just for me, the mechanics, it works great, and I can do it really great. But if I go in there even partially tired, I'm not gonna hit the numbers I know I can hit.
Sure. Okay.
Well, deadlift's one of those things that I like. I mean, I don't lift as much as I used to. I try to, but like with jiu-jitsu, I can't.
Sure,
Like, there's
sure.
just no way.
Yeah.
You have to find a
With work,
balance.
with
You have
work
to
and
find a
shit,
balance.
like you're either gonna do one or the other,
Right.
or that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like when it comes to deadlifting, like deadlifting takes so much out of you. It's
Yep.
like, it's like a heavy squat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I squat heavy in a week, I will not deadlift, and if I deadlift heavy in a week, I will not squat.
yeah, I feel the
Because
same way
to
after
me,
I
I'm
use
like,
the
yeah,
bathroom.
that's a lot on my spine.
I feel the same way after I take a piss. I was like,
Yeah.
I have to take a week off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight.
Oh,
I have to put
I get you. Yeah.
2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days in between. Especially, it's easier for me to do a deadlift day then go to do squats versus it is to do squats than to go
Sure.
do deadlifts.
Yeah.
So I'll do the squats on Tuesday, and then I'll Friday I'll deliberately have Thursday like a light day, like just arms.
Yeah.
Accessory muscles. So then
Yeah.
that's almost a rest day for the upper body. Then to go to Friday,
I fucking
and then
hate arm
it's
day.
just
I hate arm day because I'm doing it and I'm like this, like I'm doing it and I'm getting a good workout. Like yesterday, I had a really good arm day,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking to myself the whole time, I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
it doesn't feel
This
like
serves,
enough.
This serves no athletic purpose.
It doesn't feel like enough
I'm
work.
doing this to look better in a t-shirt.
Aesthetics. Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
this
okay.
is fucking dumb.
That's okay.
Like I'm sitting there curling, holding the weight, and your veins are bulging. I'm like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, where most
dumb.
where most people, well,
This isn't gonna help me in a
This
fucking
is fucking
fight.
dumb.
Where
It
most
could if you
people
got him in a good
are-
enough headlock.
Oh, I guess bulldog choke.
Yeah.
Or maybe help your hook a little bit. You're fucking dumb. Or your uppercut. Like, no, come on.
You could fend off attackers, right? Like peacocking, you just be like,
Well, what, make myself look bigger to the attacker?
yeah.
Like fucking, I look dumb. I don't know.
All right. So let me ask you something. All right, back to
If
the.
I'm getting in a fight with a guy, I don't give a fuck how big his arms are. I look at his legs.
Right,
If the dude's
right.
got giant legs, I'm like, okay, he might be
the
a problem.
legs
He
are
might
what's
be-
going
he
to
might-
generate
yeah.
strength.
But if he's
Actually,
got some weak ass legs,
the first thing I fucking look at is his ears.
yes.
Because if the dude's got cauliflowers, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
He,
Now-
he got them somehow.
Yeah.
The first thing
Like-
I look at is their eyes. Like, you looking like a bitch. Looking you in your eyes, bro. You look like a bitch.
Yeah, well, make sure you look at his ears too. If you're staring at his eyes and you miss the big old fucking collar, you might get your ass kicked.
Listen, I'll tell you what. This stops 90% of fights, right? Not jiu-jitsu. Here's
all
what
your
it is.
clothes off.
You look him direct in the eyes, and then you
down.
just wink.
Does it?
Now, if they wink back, run. You're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong room. No, but
A fail-safe method is to just take off all your clothes.
yeah, that's right.
Chances are he ain't gonna fight you
Bro,
naked.
I've actually seen a YouTube video
If
where
you-
a guy is fighting with another guy and he just starts stripping and the
Dude,
guy slowly stops yelling and arguing. He's like, what are you doing? And then the guy starts running after him and he's like,
Oh, dude.
oh my God. Oh my God.
Unless it's life or death, that dude doesn't want to fight you naked.
No, he does not.
He's like, no, I don't
He
want to
does
fight
not.
naked.
Even if I win this fight, I lost.
Well, because at some point, you might run the risk of his dick being on you.
That's right.
And most people are not about that.
And that's why, like,
Now, if he starts stripping naked too, well, fuck, I don't know that.
Now it's a party.
Now it's a double
Now it's a
negative.
party.
Yeah.
Listen,
Now
that's
it's a sword fight.
I don't know how this
now
is
it's a
gonna
sword
go.
fight.
that's a gamble. You took it and you lost.
Yes. But like that's why like when I watch these movies about like things happening in jail
don't pull guard.
bathrooms,
Don't
right?
pull guard.
In
Yeah.
jail bathrooms, I'm like, guys, there's a time and place. Just shower is neither the time
Have you ever seen
nor the place.
Have you ever seen Eastern Promises?
I have not.
It is a Russian crime movie that
Oh,
stars
no.
Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, no.
Viggo Mortensen.
Bathhouse.
Aragorn.
It's a bathhouse, isn't it? It's a bathhouse.
Beloved Aragorn. Beloved Aragorn from
Yes.
Lord of the Rings. He gets in a fight in a Russian bathhouse, and the towel comes off.
Dicks are swinging.
Bro, he's fighting naked in a bathhouse. This motherfucker is throwing high kicks with his dick flop. I remember years ago.
I'm out.
Years ago, I rented this movie because it was an action movie with Viggo
Yeah,
Mortensen.
yes.
Right after the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, it gotta be good. It's got Viggo in it.
Yes.
Dude, I'm watching him throw fucking high kicks with his dick flop. I was like,
man.
what is this movie?
Oh,
Who
man.
directed this?
Yes.
Like, who said, okay, Viggo, now you're going to be in a fight scene. The towel's going to come off. I want you to do a spinning kick with your fucking cock.
Well,
He's yelling in the background, more high kicks.
Yeah.
More high
Hey, can we reshoot that? Yeah. Can we
He's very, so now the thing is, he's very method. The towel could have just fallen off, and he went. My character wouldn't stop.
I'm gonna see if I can get that fight scene right now.
Oh no, bro, we're good. No, we're good.
Keep talking.
No. We are good, bro. There are things in life I never need to see.
Listen, it's in my head, so it has to be in
right
your
up
head
there
now.
with Viggo Mortensen high kicking ass naked, right? Is those videos when we were kids where they would show faces of death?
Yeah.
I never watched a single one of those.
Never willingly.
Never wanted to see any of that shit.
No.
Yes.
Oh, here it is. Hold on. Let me see.
No, bro.
Relax. I want to see.
Listen,
I'm not gonna.
Glasses are off.
I'm skipping ahead. Hold on.
Glasses are off.
Relax.
Glasses are off.
I'm skipping ahead.
I can't even see it. Can't even see it, bro.
Oh man, hold on. Wait, yeah, it is. It's a shower fight scene.
No, bro.
Where's the kicks? Hold on.
No, they're gonna blanket. No, we don't need to see this.
Hold on.
Eddie, please.
Let me get to the
save
kicks.
us. Eddie.
No, let me get to the kicks.
Eddie, save us.
Hold on, stop. He hasn't thrown the kicks yet.
Of course not. They
on.
save those for later.
Relax.
No, we don't need to see this. So going back to
Relax.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, look, Vigo's naked.
Hey,
he's in there fucking naked.
hey,
Look, dick
not-
out.
no, I'm
He's
good,
doing
bro.
a kick naked.
Hey.
He's doing kicks naked. For those of you at home, look, it's Vigo.
No.
Fucking
Yo,
throwing
bro,
high
you
kicks.
can't do that. You can't do that. Don't
Listen.
watch this shit. It's nasty.
I'll post. We'll find a way to post it. I'll share a link to it on our page.
Last piece of advice for some new people, okay?
Watch Eastern Prom. Watch Eastern Prom.
To get away from this naked dick swinging, kicking.
Listen, it's a good self-defense technique. You know?
It is.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when you guys started off, what was something that you really focused on? For me, I focused on my stamina and my defense. I figured if I don't know all of the attacks, I would like to learn how to properly defend against particular maneuvers or just defend in general. And then I figured after I learned how to defend, it would help me open up to feel comfortable attacking.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you go for an attack and it fails, you're put in an awkward position or in a position where you're finding yourself defending yourself from attacks. So that's what I did. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it?
When I started out, it was Russian Sambo. So, and I was the smallest dude. I was like a 16, 15-year-old kid. And everybody, Ty Krebs, Brad Sizemore, they were bigger dudes.
Right.
Like everybody I was going with was a larger, more powerful guy. My game when I started out was leg locks. It was going for a knee bar. It was an Achilles. It was a toe hold. It was a heel. Like,
Right.
that's what my game was when I started.
Sure.
And the reason my game started that way was because I needed it. Like I was never gonna. I mean, my sweeps I could learn them and try them, but like against like 250-pound Ty, like what the hell am I gonna do against him? Like, I needed to wait for him to make a mistake, step up, give me his foot, and then I would go for it. Like so
Right. Okay. All right.
that's what I was trying.
Okay, Ed.
I would say in the beginning, the two things to work on is just surviving and control. If you're focusing on getting to a finish, you're going to lose the position, you're going to lose the control, and you're going to end up back on the bottom and back learning to survive. So if you're just focusing on not getting tapped, what am I doing wrong, making it to the end of the round, and by not getting tapped, not being so in your own ego that you don't tap when someone has something.
Because that's how you get hurt.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. It's what did I do wrong? How did I get here? How do I not get here? And then when you do get to somewhere, control. Don't get halfway to side and start jumping to mount, and then you lose position. Or you get to mount, and you're so focused on a collar choke that they roll you over.
Yeah, you lose your complete position.
Yeah. Once you can learn how to get out of bad positions and maintain good ones, things will start showing up.
Sure.
But if you're so focused on the end goal of get a submission, then you're losing sight of what jiu-jitsu's main thing is, which is control and staying calm in a bad situation. So when you're on survival, staying calm and getting out of that to get to a better position and then maintaining that position. If you're rushing through and you're not taking your time, that's when you're losing everything and you're not really learning.
Yeah.
Position before submission.
Yes. Oh, I got one. Drill. Tap often. Don't be a bitch. Right?
Yeah. Eastern promises.
Don't watch naked wheel kicks.
Bro, naked wheel kicks would work. That would fucking work.
I'd feel like it would be like a double prong attack,
Should
right?
be
Because you got
flopping
the foot coming, and then you got the jump coming right after.
what-
So it's like injury, insult, injury, insult.
So you're throwing the spin kick. Their eyes go to the dick,
Right.
and the heel catches them up top of the head.
And with that words of wisdom, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast. With insult and injury are what we're here for.
We should start a naked capoeira fight league.
If you really want to make that question mark kick hard to follow, throw it naked.
Yeah. Everybody's coconut oiled up. There's a guy playing the drums. There's torches on all corners of the ring.
The original Olympics.
The original
yeah.
Olympics.
Greased up and naked.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably watch the naked capoeira fight league. I would want to see who's the best. I want to see some dude take a fucking spinning heel kick to the dome.
God. But what happens when like somebody falls the wrong way and then somebody falls on top
There's
of
no
it?
grappling. No grappling.
No grappling.
No grappling allowed.
But falls happen.
Listen.
And those types of falls.
The referee
when
is
you're
also
greased
naked.
up. When you're greased up.
Actually,
Shit slips in, bro.
The referee is in a scuba diving suit. Because there's baby oil everywhere.
For safety. For safety.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Take your baby oil in your eye.
Book a fucking eye out.
Sponsored by Diddy.
I mean, he does own the world's largest surplus of baby oil.
Brought to you by Badger.
Yo, Walmart had to tap in on Diddy to get some back. They're like, hey, we're having a shortage right now.
If they can have slap fighting leagues, we can have the naked capoeira fight.
Naked capoeira.
Not to be confused